Welcome back to Unsolicited Advice, brought to you by Toxic Bubblegum. I'm Bubblegum.
I'm Toxic.
And today we're talking about underlying motivations. Because we don't have any of underlying motivations for this episode, that's for damn sure.
We're definitely not doing a revenge call-out post.
We're definitely not doing a revenge call-out post by some other podcast.
By some other podcast that's definitely not on our partner channel.
That we definitely aren't partnered with.
Yeah.
For sure, and didn't spend a whole episode calling the two of us out for no reason, unprompted.
So speaking of how we're doing so good and not spiteful, I've got a quote for us.
Would you like to read that quote?
I would like to read that quote.
Which is not related.
Never underestimate spite as a motivator for genius.
And that's by Sam Keen from The Disappearing Spoon.
And other true tales of madness.
That's true.
It's important. We've definitely read this book.
We've definitely read this book, and we didn't spend, like, 20 minutes looking for a quote.
What if it was, like, a really terrible book, though? Like, what if we get our hands on a copy of this book to pretend that we've read it after we've said, like, nice things about it, and then it's, like, really terrible?
Well, then we make another underlying motivation, quote-unquote, episode about that book.
I publish a book called The Disappearing Spoon. Like, we were talking about this book the whole time.
This is the one we were actually talking about. The character's name is Sam Keen.
I'm Sam Keen.
Huh? What?
And then everyone thinks I know. We don't know who Sam Keen is.
No fucking clue.
Shout out to Sam Keen. Thanks for listening to the podcast.
You know, he's totally enraptured right now. Anyway,
start.
Underlying motivations.
Yeah.
Are a fun little thing that you don't always have to establish in your stories, but generally they are there.
Are we going to be... Do you just want to, like, jump in with examples of underlying motivation, or should we actually talk about why we're...
Should we talk about our underlying motivation?
Yeah.
Because we had a call-out episode from Stupid Export on their podcast for no reason.
I kind of thought I wasn't mad anymore, and then we were talking about it in the car, and Alan got so mad, and then it's like, you know what? I'm mad too.
We didn't deserve this.
Alan made me more angry.
Apparently I'm too nice to Ben on the podcast, so fuck you!
And I have a new promise to Ben and all of our listeners who might be bored. Every time Alan says something nice about Ben, I'm going to say something mean about Ben. That is my toxic promise to you. Nice.
There's also somebody who's mad that we've never said his name on the podcast, so also fuck you, William.
Yeah. Hey, William.
Fuck you.
It would have been so funny if we'd said his name wrong.
William. William.
Will I am.
Will I am. The rapper. Constant fan of the show. Always tuning in every single week. But no, they had a random call-out episode for us, so now...
Oh,
we're spiting them.
I would just like to take this opportunity to talk... I'd like to point everyone to the background image for this video. Our thumbnail is the screen capture of my 100% for pixel piracy.
Which some people said she wasn't going to get.
Yeah, some people said that they would definitely have it before me. And actually, I want to go on a side little How I Met Your Mother rant.
Yes.
Okay, so 2 of the achievements for pixel piracy are Legend, Wait For It, and Dairy, which you get for challenging a legendary pirate, and then 1 for defeating a legendary pirate.
Mm-hmm.
So they did this whole thing where they're like, we're gonna have 100% on this game before the episode comes out. And then they're like, no, but we'll definitely have it before Cat. And then, so when I went to accept the challenge, I responded with challenge accepted. And then, because it's also a Barney Stinson thing.
Of course.
That's a true story, which is my 3rd and final Barney Stinson moment. And I'm happy because I got to talk about How I Met Your Mother.
There you go.
And also my Steam achievement rating is higher.
Bam.
So, because I finally, it wasn't difficult. That's the thing that offended me, because it was like, if you're gonna call me out on being bad for a game, like, it shouldn't be a game that anyone could easily get 100% on. It's like one of the easy. I was playing on like I don't remember what the settings are. I remember Sailor because that was the first one I played on, and then I realized there were other difficulties, so I went back, and I don't remember what the like hard mode thing is. But I played it on that, and it's like it's easy. It's like one of the it's slow going. It's like, it's very grindy, but anyone could get 100% on this game. And I was, like, really offended by the insinuation that I wouldn't in a timely manner.
Just because you dedicated yourself to beating Binding of Isaac, which is one of the hardest games to 100%.
Which they also called me out on for being bad at.
Wait, nobody's good at Binding of Isaac!
I would just like to point out that I'm good at Binding of Isaac. I'm bad at Binding of Isaac Rebirth. Which I'm playing on the Vita. I don't...
Yeah, playing it on the Vita is, like, extra hard. Because it's, like, it was made for a computer.
And even on that, I do have 47% of the achievements. I'm not, like, the worst at it. Not great.
But, you're not the worst. So, like...
So yeah, that was what motivated... That was our underlying motivation for this episode.
That was Kat's motivation. I'm mad at my boyfriend. Right now. Because somebody says I'm too nice to him. So no more being nice to Ben on a podcast.
Oh yeah, also you guys, I'm not sorry for this. This would be an apology, except for I don't regret anything. Alan didn't listen to the full podcast, and then I told on you guys. I ratted you out.
Yeah, here's what happened is Ben started editing the episode, and I was down here, and I got so mad that I went upstairs for the rest of it. And then Ben had to make it up to me all night, which now he has to do again, because I'm mad about it again. Also, Ben told the story about how he tricked me into getting myself punched in the arm. And it's mean. He's mean to me.
Yeah.
I am too nice to him, as it turns out.
I've always thought you're too nice to him.
I'm killing off his character in the campaign. Guys come back after a 3-week break and he's dead.
Good.
Get yourself a new healer.
Okay, in that case, if he's dead, can we also kill Gilris? Can I get everybody's stats?
You can just adopt everybody's stats and you get 2 more morning stars.
Nice.
Reproduced by budding. But yeah, so that's mine.
Oh, also, we were called out, they complained that we've never had them on the podcast, and I want to take a second to explain. We're just about to relaunch a new website that we've had to code from scratch for monetary reasons, and we're gonna launch this new site. That's when all of our promotional stuff is going to be. Like, we had really good site traffic. We're like in between sites right now, so our traffic is like way down, and then fucking stupid export is like, how come they've never had us on our podcast? And it's unprofessional to do crossover promotions with your partner channel when you're in between websites, because, like, you lose site traffic on both sides of the promotion, which completely negates the purpose of doing one. So we're looking out for you guys.
They don't care about us.
I also had plans to do something nice for their channel, and it's like, I'm not going to anymore. Fend for yourselves!
As it turns out, me and Kat's Scorpio nature reigns supreme in the end, as we are made of nothing but spite.
It's just spite.
It's just spite. God.
So yeah.
Fucking mad.
I think, because I was gonna ask if we could have them on for collaborations, I think we should have all of the Adventures people, including Flipside, except for those
I just
two.
died a little inside. Everyone's that we've ever done any collaboration with, except for them, are allowed.
And we'll be welcome our guest stars, except Stupid Expert.
Or we have them there and don't let them talk.
They would talk.
God damn it!
You know that.
I know!
So yeah, that's what's going on. Here's a fun question. What's the most spiteful thing you've ever done to someone?
Probably this.
Oh no.
Is pretty bad. I mean, like, I am not a great barista. I spite customers if they're mean to me.
Ooh.
But But I mean, like, probably this is one of the most spiteful things I've ever done.
It's so much fun, because, like, I used to be such a nice kid. Like, I don't know what happened to that, but there was, like, this point, oh, wow, that was a long time ago, because I don't think you ever knew that kid.
I didn't. I don't think I ever did. No, because I remember what we did to each other in elementary school, and
knew me when I was nice.
Yeah.
I used to be a nice kid.
I pulled out that spite real fast.
And it's, like, it's such a funny thing to me, because it's, like, there was a time when I was, like, 8, I guess, where, like, I would never have been able to see myself spending, like, a day playing a dull grinding game consecutively to get 100% for the achievement so that we could use it as the background for our podcast, just out of spite. Like, that would have been, as a kid, I would have thought that was, like, the meanest thing to do to someone, and myself, and I would have been, like, so appalled. But it's, like, it literally was not a question. I listened to that podcast, and it's, like, I'm getting 100% this week. I would have had it that day, except for that, like, for whatever reason, the game kept crashing.
That's
so
fair.
I had to play it in, like, 15-minute increments around other stuff.
That's dedication, though.
Yeah, because it's, like, a 20-plus hour... I think it was, like, 21 hours.
But you did it.
Yeah.
I think maybe also one of my spiteful things I've ever... was... calling out Ben. Ben likes to play through... his crushing defeats of me when we're playing Magic, because Ben's decks are very good and mine are not, and he likes to... And he can level me very easily, so some of the spiteful things I do is when I actually get to win, I also do that.
I forgot. Oh god, yeah, this wouldn't make my list of top 10. I'm a terrible person. I get so mad. The one that, because Aaron and I play Diablo 3 together on the PS4.
Right.
And he does this thing, because he's player 1.
Right.
So, and, like, when you share a screen on Diablo 3, if someone runs, you know, you teleport to them, like, player 2 will teleport over. He kept getting me, he was, like, dodging, but he's bad at it, because he's, like, playing a barbarian, and he's... terrible.
Barbarians are not meant to dodge.
No. So he's, like, dodging around the screen, and we're stuck in, like, one of those fire traps, but we're playing on, like, Torment 6. So he goes to dodge, and I get teleported, like, directly into the flames, and then it happens, like, 3 more times, and he kept having to res me, and then he got an achievement for resing me enough times, because he kept teleporting me into shit.
Rude!
So I waited until I went to work. I want to say I'm not proud of this, but I do still think it's really funny. I waited until he went to work, and I found the, because there's a weapon in the game, and the effect, it laughs at you every time you die, and he had just, like, gotten rid of it. So I went until I found another one, and then I extracted the legendary power, and I equipped it to his weapon slot, so I kept laughing at it, and then I leveled up my character so that we could play on, like, Torment 10. So he was, like, following around behind me, but he was dying all the time, because, like, everything could one-shot him, and, so he'd die, and then it would laugh at him, and he's like, how did I get that staff back? And he checked, like, 6 times, and he's like, it's not equipped, I don't know why it's doing this to me, and it took him, like, a week to figure out.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Oh, that's so funny, Cat. He deserved it, though.
He did. He kept teleporting me into the flames. I was so mad. I was like, stand still. You can absorb damage. You're a barbarian. You fuck.
You're a goddamn tank.
Like, if you would stop teleporting. And then also, I got boots that leveled up my movement speed, and he's like, you're running so much faster than me, and it's not fair, because I'm slow, and I'm, like, under-leveled, and I'm gonna die. And so then I put, I got rid of all my Paragon points so I could put them all into movement speed.
God. Oh, Kat, you're more of a Scorpio than I could ever be.
I just get so mad about stuff.
I mean, it's easy. I've interacted with Aaron enough times to know that it's easy.
Yeah, oh, yeah. If I weren't a Scorpio, I'd still be like this.
So now that we've alienated all 3 of our consistent listeners,
Aaron's not caught up.
Oh, good.
He's not one of our consistent listeners.
Well, good. Fuck you, Aaron. You're getting called out, too. Everyone's getting called out.
Chain of call-outs.
I'm calling out every customer that's come to Starbucks in the past week. Fuck.
Oh, no.
I don't want to be at work.
Oh.
I gotta work Friday. I don't want to. It's gonna suck.
Do you want to talk, while we're talking about Spite, do you want to talk about how we met?
Oh, yeah, I invoked Kat's wrath very heartily. When we were kids, first of all, I didn't level up my charisma skill until, like, high school. So, like,
I would never level up my charisma skill.
So for a long time I was very socially awkward. And so the only way I didn't know how to make friends, I knew how to make rivals.
Yeah, I think, and in retrospect, I think it's like a Pokemon thing. I think you played enough Pokemon and you thought that's just how, like, children operated.
Right.
Where it's like, I've got a rival now.
I'm gonna fight them.
I can...
And then I win.
Go to the main quest line.
And then I realized I was not leveled up enough. But no, so Kat was, like, super nice to me, like, in 4th grade, and I was, like, a huge jerk about it. So Kat would be, like, really nice to me, and then I would be, like, mad at her. And, like, but the one time that really stands out is the fucking hula hoop contest where, like, you hit something with your hula hoop and it fell down, and, like, I was like, you can't get back in because that doesn't count because it fell down. And then we were doing it again and you smacked mine to the ground and I was like, what? And you were like, can't do it because it fell down the ground.
Yeah, someone, like, walked into my hula hoop and the girl who was, like, running the contest was like, that's fine, you can try again. And Alan, like, threw fits about it.
And then Kat...
So I got him disqualified.
Yeah,
so I was a jerk.
Because she fucking leveled me, dude.
And then, like, it was so bad. It was, like, it was so infuriating, because I think it was that morning, or it was, like, the day before. Like, we had just gone through this thing where someone was picking on you for your handwriting, and I stood up for you, and you yelled at me. And I was like, I don't have to put up with this.
And now here we are, fucking 14 years later, we're best friends.
That's how I make friends.
Clearly it worked! I was intense about actually making friends with you, as it turns out.
That's true.
I do not remember being so intense about it. I thought I, like, brought it up, like, cool and casual, but apparently I was very intense about video games.
Yeah, I was doing, like, this, I was a cool 9-year-old at the pretentious art school. I was trying to get, like, this whole loner thing going on, because I thought that would make me look cool as a 9-year-old. I don't know what was going on. But I was sitting alone at lunch. I had, like, just gotten rid of someone at my lunch table. And I was sitting alone, I'm wearing all black, I was feeling cool, and Alan, like, sits down, like, aggressively across from me, and is like, I hear you like M-rated video games. I'm like, what? I was so confused. I kind of thought, because you'd been so mean to me, like, since we started going to the school. I thought it was, like, a trap. I thought you were gonna, like, try to get me kicked out of school for, like, inappropriate games.
And then you were like, yes, and I was like, me too! And then that rabbit hole started.
You got me to play Diablo too.
I did!
And now here I am. 14 years later, spiting people
with Diablo! I've given you the greatest tool in your belts.
And that's also fun, because the first game I recommended to you was American Mickey's Alice.
And here I am, fucking...
working on that platinum.
I'm still working on that platinum. As soon as I'm out of school, I'm just gonna fucking sit down and play video games for, like, a long time. That's what I'm gonna do this summer.
Nice.
Is I'm gonna get that platinum.
How far along are you?
Same as it ever was.
Oh no.
I'm like 70%. Like, the ones I'm mostly, like, I really don't have that many left. It's like I have the graffiti one, and then I have to do the hobby horse one. And then I think it's the one where you have to hit 4 of them.
Yeah.
I always try to...
There's like that one thing with the Insidious.
Yeah.
Where they're like spawning real close together in that cave.
Yeah, it's like, I tried on that one, and it's also in the Dollhouse level, because there's the big Insidious route, but I don't think it counts that, because I swear I've hit 4 of the little ones with it, but I don't think it counts it for some reason.
I mean, it should, because it's the little ones that you hit in the cave, too.
Right.
That's where I got it.
I'll have to try that.
They're all little ones.
I think I have to go through, because it's on the PS3 over here, which I haven't re-completed it on, because setting up the PS3 is a pain.
That's fair.
But, yeah, it's like I have that one, and the graffiti one, and then the, like, I still need to find all the snouts. So, I'm getting there. I've got a fair ways, I just gotta, like, really sit down and do the grinding for it, which I'm not gonna complain about.
Yeah.
Because it's a good game.
Did you get the HMS Griffin one?
Oh, God, I don't think I did.
No damage. That was the hardest one for me to do.
I remember watching you do that. That was absurd. Because it's... the HMS Griffin is so hard anyway.
I know.
It's like, kidding me. Fuck you. Alice Manderson, fuck you. You're also getting called out. Everyone's getting called out. Nothing is safe.
Trying to think of like something I can call out. That's like really ridiculous. But...
Ohio, the weather here, terrible. Ohio, fuck you.
Our country, bad.
That's an easy one, though. That's like... We shouldn't even need to call that out, but we do, apparently.
Apparently someone has to.
Apparently someone does, and other people need to listen. That's the second part. Guess we should talk about writing at some point.
Yeah, we should probably move on. Do you have any good examples of underlying motivation? Since that's technically our thing, we've just been talking about spite. But do you have any underlying motivation examples in media?
I do. Guess what I'm going to talk about? It's the Adventure Zone. Oh, I am going to talk about the Adventure Zone. Spoiler again. So just always assume there's a spoiler whenever we bring up media, I guess. That's safe at this point.
Yeah.
I thought of a better one. I'm not going to talk about the Adventure Zone.
What?
I'm going to talk about Devilman instead.
What?
I know, right? I changed my mind. Still a spoiler, though, for Devilman.
Still a spoiler for the Adventure Zone, actually.
Still a spoiler for the Adventure Zone.
My favorite part of Devilman is when they all die in the Adventure Zone.
God, it's so true.
I'm someone, I don't know if you guys know this, I haven't finished the Adventure Zone.
God,
I can't actually give you spoilers for this.
It's so true, though. So... I want to talk about Rio, who is the main antagonist in Devilman, I think is the correct way to put it. He doesn't really come out as the main antagonist until, like, the very end. But so he is, his whole thing is he's trying to, like, capture, like, evidence of the devils, like, manifesting, and so, like, he turns his best friend... He gets his best friend turned into a devil, and then has him go and attack other devils who are doing bad things. Because the thing is, Akira retains his humanity even after he's turned into a devil. So he has, like, conscious control over it, so he can go fight the ones that are just, like... vicious murderers, which is like all the other ones. But you find out, like, later on in the series that, Rio is actually the king of the devils, because he's Satan, in disguise, and, like, his whole, like, and he, like, wiped his memories at some point. It's, like, a convoluted thing. But his idea was that he would turn Akira into a devil so that they could spend forever together in a purified world with no humans. So it's like his whole turning him into a devil and, like, having him do all these things, and, like, because he wanted him to turn against humanity, but he never did, so they ended up having to fight in the end. But it's, like, the end scene is really, sad? Upsetting is a good way to put it, because it's, like, you see that this whole time Rio just wanted them to be together, he did it in the shittiest way possible, because he's Satan, but it's, like, the end of the series is, like, it's him, and you see he's laying next to Akira, and he's talking to him, and being like, now we can be together forever, because, all the humans are gone, and the planet is ours, and then you look over, because Akira hasn't said anything the entire time, and you look over, and the entire bottom half of Akira has just been cut off. He's been dead for, like, this whole speech that he had, and then, like, Rio, like, loses it, because he's like, no, I did all this so we could be together, and you're gone anyway. So it's like, his underlying motivation became his main motivation, but you didn't get to really see it until the very end, and then it's like, you see how all the motivations he had up to that point ruined what he really wanted. And it was like, Devilman Crybaby fucked me up, dude. That show fucked me up real bad. I think I talked to you about this at one point also, and I also remembered how bad it fucked me up.
Yeah, like last week.
Like
on the podcast.
But yeah, that's my main example I have for it. Because it was, like, really good. It was done really well. Because it was, like, they hid the motivation really well. And not showing that main one until the end was really, really good.
Nice.
So that's my initial example of it.
That's, like, I'm glad that was kind of, like, the underlying motivation, because I think some of my favorites are when they're, which is, it's weird, because I don't like flat-out romance subplots, but I do like love as a hidden motivation for stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's, like, a nice way to bring in, like, how you will do things for people that you love that you wouldn't ordinarily do. And both of my examples kind of tie into that. Spoiler alert, for next season of Series of Unfortunate Events / the books. We just got season 2. I'm not through it yet, because I'm watching with someone who's, like, never around.
Lame.
But it's something, because, you know, Count Olaf is, like, and I'm not gonna talk too much about, like, the inner complexities of his hidden motivation, but in the books, he's a bad guy. He's, like, the antagonist, he's a villain, he's horrible for 13 books, and then right at the end you find out why he's done all of these things, because it's like, he explains it as being after the Baudelaire orphans' fortune. You know, because they're, like, millionaires or whatever.
Right. When
Violet comes of age is the thing. So it's, like, it's all of these plots and plots and plots to get after the family and to take all the money and stuff. And it's, like, right at the end of the last book, he's been defeated, but you find out that's not really what was going on with him the whole time. You know, there was other stuff leading up to that.
Right.
And it was just, like, for a kids series, it was a surprisingly complex way to wrap that up, because he wasn't really, like, he was still the bad guy, obviously, but he wasn't quite the monster that we had known him as for the entire time.
It didn't justify his actions, but it explained them in a way that made him sympathetic.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, because, like, the usual formula for that, and we were talking about it last week a little bit with villains, is, like, where we feel really bad, or, like, we really hate a villain, and then we feel bad for them when we learn, like, their motivation, and then we go back to hating them immediately because they get worse. But Count Olaf just plateaus there. Like, you just feel bad for him, and that's it.
And that's
and
the
it's
end.
like... Because it happens in, like, I think it was, like, the last chapter, or the penultimate chapter of the book. So we're, like, done by the time we get to any of that stuff. And it's, like, it was kind of heart-wrenching as a child.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It was hard.
Because I think children are naturally more sympathetic.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those things where it's, like, putting it I also think children think about it more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because if you suddenly switch that up, and I think it's especially clever that it plateaued. Like, you didn't go back down.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it leaves you more with a feeling of people are that complex.
Yeah, and it wasn't a complete turnaround either. It wasn't a redemption thing.
Right.
He didn't go back on his actions. He didn't make them right. It literally just leveled out there.
It's like, that's...
Which, I still don't think I've seen that done that well in anything since then.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
It's like a bold choice, but Lemony Snicket pulled it off.
He knows that. He's good like that.
Yeah.
That's just how he is.
He's so good.
I'm trying to think. Should I talk about the Adventure Zone? Am I gonna called out by somebody on a different podcast if we talk about the Adventure Zone? Too bad, I'm doing it anyway.
Nice.
So we're going back to the Adventure Zone spoiler. We're putting that back on here. So one of the main, like the woman that's giving them their quest, Lucretia, is like she comes off like as she's trying to. What she tells the boys is that she needs them to collect these artifacts in order to destroy them and keep them from being used to inflict war on the world, because it's like these artifacts came into the world and it's like people fought over them and fought wars over them, and so they were erased from people's memories, but they'd begun to resurface and they needed to get them in order to destroy them. But her real motivation, and it's like, is a lot more, because she wasn't destroying the artifacts at all. Her actual motivation was because she and the boys and their other crewmates from the previous century they'd spent living together had created them to distribute a magical power that had been bringing about the end of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of worlds and universes. But her main motivation was she wanted to keep them safe as she collected these, and the only way she could do that was to have them working for her. And so the reveal for that was really good, because it like goes into a huge DM speech where it like flashes back to all the times they went and were collecting artifacts, and she was watching and worrying, and we got all the context from all the time that was missing. So it's like, it developed her character very quickly, and we got to see a lot more of this character who had formerly just been very stoic and quiet, and we didn't really understand anything other than that she wanted to be in control of her own destiny and keep people safe. And I thought that was really well done, was revealing her true motivation after she put up all these sorts of walls to keep it hidden.
There's a chipmunk.
Oh no, chipmunk.
It's so cute.
It's dangerous to record in this room.
It's a little baby one. Look how tiny.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is a bad room to be recording in. Oops.
Sorry. This is the bird watching room. There's a very nice window.
I've been doing a good job not pointing out birds, but then there was a little baby chipmunk, and he's so cute. Oh god, he's so tiny.
I love babies.
But yeah. I'm not
right.
Sure. It sounds good.
It is good.
It sounds like a good way to go about that.
It's a nice way to like wrap it up, because it's like everything needs to have so much impact by that point in the story, because the world's about to end. So it's like, it comes at a good time.
Yeah.
And it's weird, because a lot of, like, the fan base is really mixed on the characters, because one of the things she did was, in order to keep them safe, she erased all their memories, because she didn't want them to get hurt, so she was going to search for the artifacts by herself, only to find that she couldn't do that. What's up?
That's just, I got so excited. That's such a good lead-in into my next example.
Yay!
You're still talking, so it's not, but I got excited.
Don't worry, we'll get there.
Because it's so relevant.
It's okay. I'm almost done. So then you can give off. But yeah, it's just like, but a lot of the fan base is really split on her because of that, because a lot of people, like, some people, like, hate her because it's like she erased all their memories and did all this stuff and, like, she's a bad person, and the other half is like, I would die for Lucretia. I am one of those people that would die for Lucretia. Because I think it's a hard moral judgment to make.
Yeah.
It's like trying to keep people safe by taking, like, their memories, because that's a whole can of worms. With a Y. Worms.
Speaking of worms.
Yeah. I don't think we are speaking of worms.
Speaking of memories and erasing them, it actually I lied. It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
Wow.
It has to do with with the thing that I'm talking about, but like a completely different side of it. I just got so excited.
Talk about Dollhouse.
Relevant. I should talk about Dollhouse. Fuck. Yes, that was my plan the whole time. I was gonna talk about Harry Potter.
Oh,
actually.
yeah, that'll do it. Also, as it turns out.
Yeah, because that was in the movies more. It was like a more subtle thing in the book. But that's something that Hermione does. Is she erases her parents' memories before she goes looking for ancient artifacts. God.
Life imitates art. What?
Art imitates Harry Potter.
Art imitates art?
Harry Potter is life.
Wait.
Harry Potter for life. I left up my shirt. I've got like a Harry Potter for life tramp stamp.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. You don't. But I wouldn't be surprised if you got one.
No, but I was going to talk about, because the other love arc that I was going to talk about, I was going to talk about Snape and Lily, because that was just, it was sad.
It was sad, as it turns out.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Severus Snape was in love with Harry's mom.
Weird.
And it's like, it's such a sad moment, because you're kind of going back and forth for most of the series about what side he's on, for sure. And then, when they ask him, when it comes time for him to explain why he's done all of these things and why he did choose to fight for the good guys instead of the bad guys, it's because he was in love with Lily Evans. And it's we get to see their relationship a little bit, he talks about, when they were kids, and we get to see, because James Potter was a dick in high school, we get to see, all of that kind of go down, and, you do feel sorry for her, and it's that same thing, we feel, even though he's not a villain, he's the worst for most of the series.
Yeah, he's pretty fucking bad for most of the series.
We get to feel bad for him. And it's one of those things, you see, the things floating around online that, make me cry in 10 words or less. And the one is always...
This is
because he still loves her. She's been dead for 16 years, whatever, however many years.
Long time.
A long time. And, even before that, she was married and... had a kid with someone else, and he's, still in love with her from when they were children. And it's, it kind of, even though he's been, really terrible to Harry, he's been looking out for him the whole time.
Right.
And it's, that...
It's, one of those things, how it, underlying motivations don't always... They can seem counterintuitive.
Yeah.
I guess. Because it's he's so mean to Harry. All the time.
But then, they kind
consistently.
They kind of get into that, too, because Harry looks just like his dad.
That's true.
And Harry's dad, tormented Snape when they were kids. So it's
It's Snape's motivations are very much based on his past.
Yeah.
And therefore reflect in... how he acts in the present.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true.
But Dollhouse, real quick, would have also been really good there, because it's all about erasing. It has less to do with artifacts.
That's true.
Except for Epitaph, I guess, kind of did. not Epitaph Part 2 kind of did, because they're, like, going around and trying to, like, install flash drives into, fun sci-fi machines. That's how I would describe Dollhouse, actually, as trying to install flash drives into weird sci-fi machines. No,
that's the whole thing.
But it does have a lot to do with moral gray areas and erasing people's memory, except for you do know that it's wrong. You're not sure where the line is, but you know that they've crossed it.
Right, the line was crossed a long time ago, as it turns out.
That's actually, like, my favorite episode of Dollhouse, I think, is because they go around and they're, like, because the whole thing about the Dollhouse is that all of these things are happening, like, underground, but it's an urban legend above ground. Like, there are rumors that this kind of stuff has been happening, and so it's like, they have an episode that is like a documentary style type thing, where they have someone researching the urban legend to see what people's reaction to this hypothetical situation would be, and it's really interesting because you get to see, like, a bunch of the different reactions to this, where some people are like, this is absolutely wrong, this is horrid, anyone who wants to do this is a terrible person. There were some people who were like, if this is a real thing, sign me up. Like,
I'll do it!
Like, I would do it. There are some people who are interested in using the service. Like, there's just, like, such a wide... There's that one guy who's like, if a man got to try stuff out with another man, and then that other guy would have no memory of that, I think that would be pretty okay. And, like, he's standing next to his wife, who just looks so horrified. So it's just a fun way to get into the world. We should have talked about it for world building, because that was a really good way to go around, like, how even the contemporary settings do have
a element of world building to them, because, I mean, they have to have a world to live in, and that world generally will have something that sets it apart. Unless it's meant to be like just a slice of life sort of deal.
But it was a lot of fun in terms of underlying motivations also, because everyone does kind of have their own thing that they're working toward. Right. You know.
They have their own reasons for doing everything.
And with the dolls, it's so fun because, like, they have their personality has been buried under layers and layers and layers of this programming system that Topher's created, and when they get to it,
you just started laughing.
I did. I was thinking about Topher. He's so funny.
You said Topher, and I thought about the cat.
Topher, your cat, created
my cat,
the programming,
who has been kept from me by my own family.
Yeah, but they've, like, their personalities is like very deeply buried in who they are, but it's still there. So it's like, it's a completely different kind of underlying motivation, but you can see these patterns start to emerge as we understand who the dolls were in their lives previously. And it's a really good example is with Echo, because she's becoming self-aware. So it's a little bit less underlying for her, but she's trying to save everyone in the dollhouse. She's trying to make them more coherent. She's trying to get the dolls to think for themselves. She's trying to stage a rescue, basically. And then we find out that what the Rossum Corporation brought her in for was trying to bring them down because she wanted to save the people that they were doing this to. So it's like, even though in her mind, on the surface layer, she knows that because she's self-aware, she's going to be put in the attic if anyone finds her out. So she's trying to get away from that danger. But on a deeper level, all she's ever wanted to do is save the others. So it's like, it's
goes from being like it's like a subconscious motivation.
Yeah.
Like it descends another level to where the character's not even aware that they're doing this, but like, it's so ingrained in them that they can't not do it.
Right. And it's also, there's the one character we get to see her for Dollhouse spoilers. No one cares about Doll. I'm literally the only person who likes that show. But I'll defend it to the ends of the world. But no one cares. But okay. There's a character who, and we get to see her for a long time, Dr. Saunders, and she's like treating dolls and everything. And then we find out that she's not real. She's also been a doll. She had like so many years left in her sentence, and like, she got disfigured,
Mm-hmm.
so they had to do something with her, so they programmed, the doctor had died in the same incident that she got disfigured in, so they implanted his personality into her, so that she could keep seeing patients, and it's like, when she finds out that she doesn't exist, that she's like an amalgamation of other people in the body of someone she's never met, she's like, she kind of goes on to this whole other motivation arc of herself, where she's just trying to, it's like, she doesn't agree with the Dollhouse, she doesn't like what they're doing, but she knows that if they're brought down, if the Rossum Corporation is brought down, and she, and everyone gets restored, she'll be gone, because she doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And her body will be given back to the original personality that she had, and she doesn't want to...
She don't want to lose that.
She doesn't want to die, essentially. So it's like... That was a really interesting motivation. And that's one of the things, that was one of the situations we were talking about this with Age of Ultron, where it's like Joss Whedon is always getting fucked over by the studios. Dollhouse, I know everyone complains about Firefly being canceled early. Dollhouse was the best example of anyone getting fucked over by a TV network.
Yeah.
Ever. They just... With all the stuff they were throwing at him, there was no way Dollhouse was going to be perfect. But if you look at the concept, if you look at those kinds of character situations, it's like...
Right, like, they're exceedingly interesting.
Yeah.
But he wasn't given the time or the resources to actually elaborate on them properly.
Like, they kept telling him he was going to get canceled, and then not canceling him, so he'd have to find ways to wrap up the story really fast, and then he'd still be on air. So he had to, like, find a way to pick up from an ending he didn't want.
Right.
Which is, like, why we have Epitaph and Epitaph Part 2, because Epitaph ends the world, and then they're like, just kidding, Season 2. He's like...
It's like... What do you mean?
But it's like, in terms of character motivations, it's really interesting, because you also start to get into that whole, like... There are just so many layers of consciousness to each person's.
Right. It's like it goes in so deep to the psychological aspect of it. I think psychological thrillers are a real good example of underlying motivations.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they have all sorts of things going on there. Because that's the idea of a personality, is that it's layers built on layers.
Yeah.
And all those layers put together is what makes your personality. It's good.
So good.
I like it.
So I guess in writing, and again, I guess for as spiteful as we started this episode out, we're just kind of building on stuff we said last week.
Yeah, that's true.
For, like, villain stuff. But it's like, if you're, and except for this also applies to your protagonist, but it's one of those things where it's like, having multi-level characters like this it's a good way to flesh your character out, and it's also a really good way to determine, because, you know, it's really easy when you're planning a story to be like, this person, this happened to them, and they respond in this way, this is their motivation. But in real life, and in more complex stories, people very seldom do things for one reason. And it's like, even if you have that kind of extreme focus, there are usually, like, underlying things that have built up to make you, when I got 100% on Pixel Piracy this morning, it wasn't because someone told me that they'd do it before me. It was, on the surface, it was a lot about that. But on, like, a deeper level, I have an achievement addiction.
Right, it's like...
And there were events in my life that led up to me having that.
Right, it's that your underlying motivation, because you have a lot of games that you're working on platinuming.
Yeah.
You just had a specific thing that lit the fire for that particular game.
Right. Like, if you had asked me yesterday when I'm waiting for Pixel Piracy to boot back up after it crashed for the 8th time that day, I would have been like, it's because these fucks on our partner channel said this. But, like, that wasn't entirely true, you know? I'm not easily swayed enough by what someone says about me on a podcast that I'll ruin my whole Tuesday if there isn't other stuff going on. Wednesday, whatever day.
It's a day.
I don't know what day today is.
Thursday, I think.
Is it?
Yes.
I wouldn't
have the
ruin
day
my
off
whole
work.
Wednesday. Whoops.
Yeah, it's like also like going back to Spiteful, we started the episode off when I'm playing Magic with Ben, I may think that the reason I like explain the way my deck is going all out is out of spite if he's done the same thing to me in literally the game before. But it's actually mostly like I like playing the game, and I like showing Ben that I can work with the stuff that he's helped me build, because I'm bad at Magic, but sometimes the decks work, and so I like to show him that I'm enjoying it. I'm still mad at him, though, so, like, you're not off the hook yet.
That's fair.
That's true. Somebody's gotta buy me drinks tomorrow. And it's gonna be him!
Nice.
But yeah, so it's like, we all have our underlying motivations for the things we do, but they're not always, sometimes we don't even know why we do them, we just do them.
And that's another thing is, like, you should probably know your character's motivation, even if they don't, and there's a good chance that they don't. Sometimes, people will do things that they don't really understand. Sometimes people will get, like, really emotional about things and not understand why, and that's why, therapists are a thing.
That's why therapists... Shit, I should go see a therapist. This is a separate issue. I should go see a therapist, though.
I've never had good luck with any kind of person who was supposed to help me. I'm not going to discourage other people from getting help with stuff, but underlying motivation for me, fuck that.
Fuck that, I don't have time for that.
I've got games to play.
I've got games to play on. I don't have time. But yeah, it's like, I think it's very helpful as an author to know your character's motivations, obviously, because you're writing them. But I think one of the things is you don't always have to think about it super hard. Is because if you're developing your character, like, as you write them, by the time that their underlying motivation comes into play, you're gonna know what it is. Because you've been developing them while they're developing on their own. And then those things will click into place. And if there's anything, like, and it's like, you can always go back and fix something. Like, there's nothing stopping you from going back and fixing what's already been done. And then that just makes it even better.
That's something, I wish that we weren't recording
things.
Yeah, like, adventures podcasts. Because that's something that I find is really true with tabletop characters. Like, when I'm playing characters, I don't always understand why I feel so strongly they would do something until after they've done it.
Right, it's already happened, and then you're like, oh, I didn't...
It's a lot about getting into that mindset of your character.
Right. It's like one of the really useful things that we've kept doing is doing the 2 sessions. It's because that first session warms you up, and then you really can get into it by the second one.
And, It's
good.
I never know what Tone's going to do before she does it. I make plans for her, and they don't happen.
Yeah, I also make plans for Tone, and they don't happen. Tell me about it.
She's a wild I think actually the worst one was Cinna. Watch Soulbound, it's not out yet. But...
God, we're spiteful.
Cinna, like, I would make plans for her, and then, like, something would happen, and that would not go down.
And we'd be like, oh, we're done with that now.
There was, like, a V1 romance arc, that was supposed to be a joke, and then it's like that.
And then she took it really seriously.
That didn't happen. Like, and it's always a fun situation when your character takes something more seriously than you do.
It's like, oh, God.
Like,
that's not good. Yeah, I don't ever know what... I know what Thrash is doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. I have the opposite problem where I'm like, Thrash is motivated this way, and then he, like, doesn't show it at all. He's like, fuck? It's like, you goddamn idiot bunny. You goddamn fool.
I guess I can talk a little bit about Despair.
Yeah.
And her motivation. That's not a spoiler. We're not recording that.
We are not recording that, as it turns out. That's a completely separate project.
Already done. Done with that. But I do have, she's, like, I've done the story, now, so it's kind of different. But she started out as a Dungeons and Dragons. She started out as a tabletop character, and I originally, she was going to be really quiet and gloomy, because I was quiet and gloomy, and I didn't understand how to play Dungeons and Dragons, so I thought it would be good if I was just, like, quiet. But she also ended up being pretty spiteful, because which was just, like, unexpected, because it's, like, as I got into the game more, it was harder to just, like, sit on the sidelines and let everybody be an idiot.
Right.
So she got a lot...
That's the D&D experience!
So she got really spiteful, but it's, like, and, like, as she developed her motivation, like, it kind of... Because it started as, like, a romance arc. She had lost her fiancé, and a big part of the thing was just... There was no body. And a big part of the thing, she was trying to find out, like, if he'd been killed or captured or, like, what... She just wanted answers. Because we were, like, we were, like, searching for an oracle dude.
Right.
And, like, we all had to have a thing that we were looking for answers about. So it was, like, that was her whole thing. But it's, like, she kind of knew the whole time that he was dead. Because, like, not a lot of people survived.
Right.
So it was, like, one of those, even if he was captured, he didn't make it kind of things. So it's, like, as the project developed, it was one of those things where it's, like, she didn't really want to find out. She just wanted everyone to pay for it. It was, like, a revenge thing the whole time.
It was like she said her motivation was to find out, but she already knew the answer.
Yeah, she just couldn't handle the answer.
Right.
Which is why it was like a subconscious revenge arc.
Right, it was like she didn't know her actual motivation, but she pretty much knew the whole time.
Yeah.
She knew it in her heart.
She did.
I think one of the characters I can talk about for tabletop is my One Piece tabletop character, Lil, because her, so we haven't really gotten into, I haven't gotten to work with her in her main motivation, which is to be the best musician in the world, mostly because I haven't been the best about it, because there's a lot of other stuff going on. Because that's just how tabletop games are. So it's like, that's sort of her underlying motivation, but I know the reason why is her motivation is because she wants to be able to, when she was, like, 9, her family was in an accident and she thought they all died, which has not been the case. As it turns out, I've run into 2 of them.
Watch Jessica Jones.
What? But so, when she decided she wanted to be the greatest musician in the world, it's because she wanted to be able to write a song to properly memorialize them. And she knows she couldn't do that properly unless it was the best song in the world.
The greatest song in the world.
The greatest song in the world. Play that Tenacious D.
I wish I had a guitar.
That's what it is. That's, okay, that's what we're doing next session in One Piece. I'm playing that song. But it's...
Okay, never mind.
Is Ragnarok, which we're not recording for 3 weeks?
No, I thought you were saying that I would play tribute during the next episode of One Piece.
You just show up.
Like, I'm not in that.
You're not in that. That's true. But yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, she has her... and that hasn't come out at the table yet, because as it turns out, her family is not dead, except for maybe her dad, who we haven't run across, but he's probably alive somewhere. I don't know anymore. She's having a bad fucking time, though.
Dead dads are always alive and the worst.
That's the goddamn Adventures theme. Is dads are the worst. Dad, don't listen to this episode. Dad, I love you! My dad is cool! Despite what people will say. Specifically Ben and William.
This is a call-out post.
This is a call-out post. My dad's cool.
William, Alan's dad is so cool. He plays the banjo.
Hey, he plays the banjo well.
Yeah.
So, my dad plays like every fucking instrument.
He's
I can't handle it.
The only banjo player I know, but he's really good.
He also plays the steel guitar and like the
That's
actual
pretty amazing.
and an actual guitar
Really important.
and bass guitar
I
and electric guitar.
only talk to people who play several different kinds of guitars.
That's true. That's my dad. My dad's cool. They're always being mean to me about my dad. We're gonna stop that now. Anyway, back to the motivations.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, her motivation hasn't really been said out loud yet, especially because now it's gonna have to change because her family's not dead. So she's sort of like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Everything's bad. My mom's gonna die.
She becomes the greatest musician in the world and then writes a song about how her family isn't actually dead.
She writes a song about how her mom is dead and her big brother's a fucking douche. That's it. That's the greatest song in the world. But yeah, so that's like my tabletop is developing at the moment. She's in a bad place. She deserves something nice. She has a whole AU dedicated to nice things.
What?
As it turns out, because she's just having such a bad time.
I can't imagine what nice things are like. I don't
My God, if you find out, let me know. Because I just have AUs full of them.
Sounds like you might know better. I would like... Oh, I can't say... God damn it! Okay, never mind. Ragnarok spoilers.
Ragnarok spoilers, which
There's
is
a
also not...
Ragnarok AU that I want to roleplay with you.
Yes.
But we can't talk about it on the recording because it has motivational spoilers for
Whoopsie.
Tone. Sad.
Can't talk about that.
I know.
Because it's not going to be out for another fucking 2 years.
I know.
Because I don't upload shit. It's my fault! I'm sorry!
I got so excited. Here's a call-out post for Cookies and Milk, because they said a couple episodes ago that they were going to start uploading adventures so that it would get done. And I'm waiting for that. I'm gonna show up in the next episode. I'm very excited for everyone to unsubscribe from you guys, because I showed up.
Jesus Christ!
That's the real spite.
That's the real spite.
It was a long con the whole time.
Jesus Christ.
I joined this podcast so that when eventually you guys made fun of me and the episode got uploaded, everyone would leave your channel.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. Hey, speaking milk job.
I'm leaving.
That's fair.
That's the end of Unsolicited.
I do think that's the only way we can end it, actually. I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
Because I don't have anything else to say.
I don't really either. We were supposed to be talking about Valor. All of my notes are Valor related.
That's fine.
We'll do it next week.
We'll get to it.
Or the week after. We'll do it next week.
We'll get to it. It'll happen.
Nice.
I want to talk about Spyro, so, like...
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to it.
That's the thing. Nice.
That's the only thing keeping me alive right now, because my partner is mean to me.
Oh, man. That's not great.
No more cookies. Cookies and milk. We're done.
I'm gonna send you a copy of Pixel Piracy. You also get the 100%.
I get 100% on my shitty Mac.
Nice.
That'll show.
That'll be impressive. I'd like that.
I like it.
We're doing that. Bye, guys.
Now that you've heard our plan...
Alan will have the 100% by the time this episode comes out.
Tomorrow? No! Hold on. I have homework.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. He'll have it before you guys. Because that was like the thing. They said that they'd have it by the time the episode came out, and then they backtracked, and then just said they'd have it before me.
Oh my god. Beautiful. I love it. Well, that's the end of the episode, I think.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening. This has been Unsolicited Advice.
Stay spiteful.
That's Spite. I'm also Spite. We're both Scorpios.
Spite.
See you later. Bye.